we are looking at the Thermamax ProTIG 200 AC/DC, and as the name implies, it's an AC/DC TIG welder rated at 200 amps. So if you guys are in the market for a TIG welder, stick around and we'll have a look at what you get in the box and some of its specs and features. Welcome back to the Burton Builds garage. Let's get started. So what do we get in the box? Well, we're about to find out. But before I open the box, I do need to state that this box has been opened before, not by me. This welder was standing on the showroom floor at Unique Welding, and it was just the welder that was standing outside. Well, not outside, but on the showroom floor. And basically they just took it into the back, they boxed it up, and hopefully nothing is missing. So that's where we stand basically with the unboxing. It's quite a heavy box. It's probably around about 20 kilos, somewhere around there. And the first thing that we get inside is our regulator. Now this is the Thermamax Phoenix Argon 160 regulator, or it says AR160 Argon CO2 flow meter. Hopefully quite a nice flow meter, but we'll check that out at a later stage. Obviously there's going to be a lot of packaging in the box. Yeah, some stuff I suppose that so that the welder doesn't get damaged in transit. Okay, you do get some paperwork with the box now, well, with the welder I should say. There is a little user guide. This thing is a couple of pages long. Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that just now. It looks like it also comes with a calibration certificate. So don't really know exactly how much of a certificate that is, just something that's been printed and 3 pen marks on it. So who knows about that. Some of the other things that it comes with, of course, most of the TIG welders are going to come with a torch, and here's the torch over here. Of course, we'll have a look at that just now. There's some other stuff in here. This is our gas hose. What else do we have here? A couple of little odds and ends. Looks like we've got a spare little rubber thing and a couple of small other items there. And we got some cups and some, what do you call those things, collets, or not too sure actually, can't remember right now. We've got our earth clamp. This thing is, oh, okay, it's kind of hooked in there in the box. So yeah, we've got our earth clamp and kind of our stinger, which we'll also have a look at just now. And this is pretty much what you and me both have been wanting to see. Hopefully I can get this thing out of here. Bloody heavy. There we go. Now there is something else that does come with this machine. It's in a separate box actually, and that is the foot pedal. So let's have a look at that. What did I do with that knife? And here we go, here is our foot pedal. I suppose what we can do is open it up and take it all out of the plastic so that both you and me can have a good look at it. So yeah, that's what it is right there. In the flow meters box, of course we get some Thermamax instructions here about the flow meters. I mean, these things are pretty simple to use. Although if you are new into welding, then maybe you do want to read the instructions. You can get rid of the boxes there. So, as I said, we get a flow meter. It's one of these styles where you got the high pressure side and a flow meter or low pressure side over here. And of course you can adjust the flow with this little dial. It also has, I think this is called like a ferrule. So this is going to go, I wonder, oh, I suppose it's off because that's how they get it to fit in the box. But basically we take this little fitting off here, and then it's just the inverter in the background. Don't worry about that. Thank you Eskom for our wonderful load shedding. Yeah, so our gas tube, that's this piece over here, that is going to go onto there with a little hose clamp, and this is going to be fed into the back of our machine. And of course you are going to need a gas bottle. Now argon, if you are going to be doing some TIG welding, is generally the thing we want to use. We're not going to be using a mag mix or CO2. So of course your bottle goes onto that side. In our little TIG kit, we've got 4 cups. We've got a number 4, a 5, a 6 and a 7. And the collets, we've got a 1.6, a 2.4 and a 3.2 millimeter collet. And there's a couple of other parts of the TIG Torch. You guys should be quite familiar with this type of stuff if you've ever TIGged anything before, if you've been looking around at various TIGs. What else do we have here? We've got a clamp, so it also comes with 2 clamps for the argon tube or for the argon hose. It's also got a little earth clamp here. Now these things will go together, so this little brass piece and this little rubber piece, and that'll be for an earth clamp. If you are going to be doing some arc welding, well, then you're going to need this bit. So you would put your arc welding rod into this stinger end. I think that's generally what it's referred to as, although it's probably not the technical name. It looks like quite a nice cable. The stinger spring is quite strong. It feels pretty sturdy when you're holding it, and it's got 16 millimeter squared cable, or the area of the cable, so quite nice and beefy. I take it if you're going to be doing those high amperage welds. So that's something that you do get with it. Also looking at the earth clamp, of course each welder is going to need an earth clamp, and this earth clamp looks fairly good. It's nice, also nice and stiff. Also going to be that 16 millimeter squared wire, standard old earth terminal that's going to go into your welder. Looks pretty good. Second to last is going to be our TIG Torch. Now, this is quite a lot of wire here. I think this cable is somewhere around 3 or 4 meters. I will confirm that. I'll put something up on screen so that you guys know exactly what it is. And just having a look off the bat, it's a WP-26. So this is one of the bigger, well, I think it's actually the biggest air-cooled TIG torch you're going to get. I may be wrong though, so don't shoot me down for that. Generally, I think most of us are going to be using the WP-17 or the 26, somewhere around there. So yeah, got a little plastic handle. It's a non-flexible torch. You know, you guys that have been TIG welding for quite a long time, you're gonna appreciate those flexible head torches. They, you know, they're quite handy to have around. As for the little switch here, it's just got probably a little micro switch inside here. We will do probably a teardown of this thing and have a look at how it's made. So I'm guessing there's a little micro switch in here. And while this is plastic, I mean, don't be fooled. If it's the right type of plastic, it can be very strong. So your nylon reinforced with glass fiber, like a lot of your tools, there's some of them over there. Usually those are all plastic tools, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with the plastics. They're very, very strong. As for the end that goes into our welder, we've got our standard terminal over here, and then we've got our little gas fitting. This is just a quick release clip in and out gas fitting for your argon to pass through. And for our switch that is on our torch, that connects into the machine with a standard little 2-pin connection. Something I forgot about was actually the pedal. It was hiding. Of course, you guys could see it on that side of the welder. So having a quick look at that, this is quite a nice beefy pedal. It's got that rocker style pedal. So some of the other welders have got a pedal where you kind of push the tip down, so you would be pushing it with the tips of your toes basically, and this one you would actually put your foot down and rock your foot. Again, these are a little bit more comfortable to use, so quite nice that you get one of these. It's also got 2 connections, so what this thing is going to do is it's going to vary your currents especially when you're welding aluminium, and it's going to initiate your arc. So that's why we've got 2 over here. So the first little bit, if you push it slowly, there's a little bit of a click like that, and that's going to initiate your arc. And that's of course basically the same as where your gun, or not your gun, but your torch would plug into that same little 2-pin switch. And then the next one you can see has got 3 wires, and this is generally the case with most TIG welders. That's going to be to vary your current. Yeah, this thing looks fairly good. Again, we'll tear this down, we'll have a look inside just to see exactly how it works and how well it is made. The connections on the front of the machine are pretty standard for most TIGs. We've got our electrodes, we've got positive and negative, we've got our gas connection, and then we've got 2 connections here, one for our switch on our torch, and the other one is for the foot pedal. Now, we'll look at this just now, but the foot pedal is actually going to use both of these. So it's pretty simple to connect everything up. Let's say we are welding some stainless in DC mode, then we're going to connect our earth strap to positive, and then we're going to weld DCEN, which is DC electrode negative, so that's our torch, and this comes from our torch. We're going to connect that up into there, and these little connections, they are quite simple to put in. We just stick it in, twist it a little bit clockwise, and then it locks into position. Then we've got to hook up our gas line, so pretty simple like that, and we'll take it, click it in, and it's done. Then we've got our 2-pin connection. We can see it over there, and we just stick it in, just as simple as sticking it in there and putting on our little nut, I suppose a securing nut, sliding down the cable a little bit there. Just finger tight is good enough, and there we go, we've got it all connected. Now, if you do want to connect up your foot pedal, what you can do is you don't have to connect up both of these connections. You can leave your torch, your trigger, so if you want your starting on your trigger, or let's go and fetch it quickly. It's somewhere hiding away here. Let's get a little bit closer. So we can see here our foot pedal has got 2 connections. So if we want to use the foot pedal to trigger our high frequency start, then we'll connect that one in this side like that, and then this one is going to be, you can see it's got 3 connectors and 3 connectors over there. This is going to be to control your current. So we'll just put both of those in there and just finger tight on both of those locking rings, and that's it. A quick overview of our panel. This first bit is our welding mode selection zone. We can select 6 different welding modes. The next bit is our parameter and alarm display zone, and that is to see the values that our machine is set at. Next is our parameter adjustment knob, so where we change all the settings, and then we've got our switch. Of course, we've used that already. This is our TIG parameter zone, where we're setting all of our TIG settings. This is our MMA or arc welding parameter selection zone. That's this bit over there, and this here is our foot control selection zone. To get back to something that I brought up earlier, talking about the lengths of the various things, our TIG Torch is 7.5 meters long. Our earth clamp or our work lead is 2.5 meters long, and if you're going to be using the stinger for arc welding, that's 2.6 meters long. The foot pedal is 2.4 meters long. And well, how far can we get away from the plug of the wall? The power cord is 2.1. And last but not least, the gas line is 3 meters long. Also, we are going to be doing a teardown of everything here. So far, I'm pretty happy with what I've seen. It feels quite solidly built, although there's 1 or 2 things that I do want to talk about. So come back for that teardown video. You're probably looking at it right here, this little rotary encoder, and also it's got something to do with the airflow going through the machine. We will talk about that. I'm not going to say if it's good or bad just yet. I will link the video up eventually when it's out. Of course, I haven't looked at it yet. I mean, I've just got the machine. I'll put the link up somewhere here in the description. I mean, you guys know how that stuff works. Also, we were going to talk about the specs. Now, the video is getting quite long. I think we're almost at the 12-13 minute mark here. We were going to run through all of the settings of this thing. We are still going to do that in the next video. So if you guys were waiting for that, I'm really sorry, but we will get to it. We're going to run through those specs, exactly what all the settings are and that type of thing. Something that I wish I knew before I actually purchased this thing. You know, just it's nice to know these things. And this thing, the operator's manual. So I'm going to put a link in the description to a scanned copy of this so that you guys can go through it in your own time, you know, page through it, see and read exactly about what the machine is about. You know, it's something nice to go through. Also about that, I must say that the guys at Unique Welding here in Port Elizabeth, they were very friendly when I went to go buy the machine. They did explain quite a bit to me in the shop, and you know, it was really good customer service, so thanks very much for that. Also, guys, do keep this in mind if you are going to be doing a lot of welding, and of course I'm going to be doing more welding than usual now. Your fire risk is going to increase, so keep fire extinguishers around. That is very important. On the fire extinguisher note, I want to say a very big thank you to Andrew at Land Marine Fire. This is his spot here, and Andrew, thank you very much. I went down to Andrew and I said to him, look dude, can you help me out with some fire extinguishers? And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. So thank you very much for that. If you guys need any of your fire extinguishers serviced and you're in the PE area, probably in the Eastern Cape, that type of thing, call him up. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to help you. For those of you guys who are overseas, well, unfortunately, you're going to have to give this one a skip. So guys, that's pretty much it for the video. Please support the channel by leaving some likes and comments and subscribe. It really does help me out. I want to hear from you guys. This is my first Thermamax unit. If any of you guys have had any experience with these things, let us know in the comments, good or bad. It's always nice to hear from you. I look forward to doing the next videos with you, the teardown, the features, and a little bit of a review once I've used it a little bit. Although I'm no expert at welding, by no means, but definitely wanting to share my experiences with you. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time. Cheers.